the time has finally arrived for the much belated end of season awards for the Carolina Hurricanes, and we will get into that in today's episode of Locked On Hurricanes.
You're Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Caniacs. I'm your host, Jared Ellis, and you're listening to Locked On Hurricanes on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And as always, I'd like to thank you for making Locked On Hurricanes your first listen of this Friday afternoon. And you can follow myself on Twitter at JaredEllis_96 and follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at LO_Hurricanes. And as I said, today is the belated end of season awards for the Carolina Hurricanes. I was putting something together yesterday for you guys as far as, a fan survey for, what events and promo nights should the Carolina Hurricanes bring back. And when I was making up that Google form, I saw that I had never closed the voting for the first end of season awards and in turn and never done the episode. So we're going to do that today, obviously. And yeah, that was really weird. I don't know how that slipped through, guys. I really, really don't. But yeah, we're going to do all of that today in this episode. And so getting into that, obviously, voting is done for it now. So if you didn't vote, too bad. So getting on into it, we're starting off with our favorite mentor moment from the season last year. There were a few different responses here. There was the trip to New York in the playoff games, but the one that got the most votes was that super long penalty call. I believe it was against Anaheim, where it lasted like half of the penalty box time, and yeah, that was pretty good. One that also got a vote was the 1 minute left in the no. That was a very, very funny moment for Minster. But again, the winner for the favorite mentor moment of the year was his super long penalty call. Moving over into Team MVP, the big award. I know this is what everyone is wanting, so we're going to go ahead and knock this out of the way. There were several receiving votes. We had Jordan Stahl receiving votes, Nino Niederreiter, Antti Raanta even received some. But there was actually a tie for Team MVP. And that tie is between Frederik Andersen and Seth Jarvis. So that was one that surprised me a little bit. I'm not surprised about Freddie. But Seth being up there in the team MVP conversation, that was a little surprising. I was expecting that to be more of Sebastian Aho up in there being the tie, but it was not the case. So congratulations to Freddie Andersen and Seth Jarvis. Now, in terms of best forward, the ones receiving votes were Vincent Trocheck, Seth Jarvis again, Andrei Svechnikov, but Sebastian Aho did win 50% of this vote. So congratulations to him. Best defenseman, this was predictably a landslide, that being Jacob Slavin. He absolutely got 80% of the votes, with Brett Pesci being the only other one receiving votes as far as best defenseman goes. So that just goes to show just how freaking good Jacob Slavin is. But yeah, and most surprising player, no surprise here, Seth Jarvis won that one. He won with 40% of the votes there, with Brendan Smith, Max Domi, Auntie Ronta, and Tony D'Angelo all receiving votes there. But yeah, Seth Jarvis, no surprise there that he won most surprising player. Most disappointing player was pretty interesting here, because Ethan Bear received votes, Max Domi received votes, but the one that won by quite a large margin was Martin Necas. So yeah, really no surprise there. That's something that we've talked about quite a bit, of just the disappointing season that he had. And I really am hoping that he does not repeat in that category for sure. But yeah, just taking a second at the most disappointing player. Yeah, I think that Ethan Bear being there as well, he did have a bit of a disappointing season also. He was originally my pick to be the breakout player of the year. I thought he was going to be in a really big position to do just that, but that was not the case. And like we've talked about at length, is I feel that the long-term effects of his COVID really hampered him, and I'm honestly still surprised that he got brought back. Considering he didn't get played at all during the playoffs. I really thought that was going to be a telltale sign of he was going to be out the door, but he does have a lot of upside, which is why I predicted him to be the breakout player last season. So I think, they're bringing him back on that. And then Martin Necas, a very disappointing season. So, hopefully he bounces back as well, because, again, a lot of upside. And now we are getting into the best dressed category. This was one where we had several guys receiving votes. We had Sebastian Aho receiving votes, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, Andrei Svechnikov, Nino Niederreiter, Martin Necas, and it ended up being a tie again, folks. We had a tie between the aforementioned Sebastian Aho and, honestly, the pick that I thought was going to win this outright and not tie, Vincent Trocheck. So congratulations to those two guys. And now we will take a quick break, and we will be back with the best social media follow. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all of your betting needs. Find all of your favorite sports and events at the number one source for all of the odds, lines, and games. Find reviews and news of every league, including Major League Baseball, the NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports wagering information, from live in-game betting, scores, and podcasts. They have you covered. The NFL preseason is underway right now. My two favorite teams, the New England Patriots and Carolina Panthers, are playing tonight. The MLB is underway, and you have the WNBA going on right now. And then on Wednesday, you have the AEW World Title Unification match between CM Punk and Jon Moxley. So head on over to BetOnline right now on your mobile device or website to learn more about the action happening today. BetOnline, where the game starts. now it's time to dive back into the awards now with Best Social Media Follow. There were a few responses here. This was one I kind of predicted, who it would end up being just based kind of on the fact that a lot of the guys don't use social media a whole lot. But we did have a few votes out here. Kane's PR received votes. Abby Labar, Jordan Martinook also received votes. So did Max Domi. But the winner was Vincent Trocheck. He's really like the only guy that would post regularly on social media. So really no surprise there. But one thing I am surprised going by this is the fact, you see like Kane's PR getting votes, is the fact that the Canes themselves didn't get a vote. And you see Abby getting a vote there as well. Wade Minter not getting any votes for Best Social Media Follow. That was a bit surprising there. But yeah, as far as players, I kind of figured it'd be Vincent Trocheck. This was one that got me a little bit. Who would you most want to have a beer with? I expected Jordan Martinook to pretty much run away with this, but he did not. We had several guys receiving votes. Marty obviously did. So did Frederick Anderson, Ian Cole, Nino Niederreiter, Vincent Trocheck, Tavo Teravainen, and Stephen Lawrence. All received votes. But the one that won was Seth Jarvis. Guys, he's 20. He can't drink. So, I mean, he wins on a technicality, but you can't do that. So, we'll just say it's Jordan Martinook. But, yeah, he seems like a cool kid. So, whenever he legally can have a beer, then you can go have a beer with him, guys. But he can't have one right now. So, he wins the popular vote, but Jordan Martinook wins the who do you want to have a beer with category. Game of the year. This was one that had a few votes. We had the Game 7 game against Boston. That received some votes. We also had round 1 and Game 2 there as well, but the one that won pretty handily in this category was the game against Columbus on New Year's Day, where the Hurricanes came back from 4-0 to win 7-4. So yeah, that was a amazing game. I remember it being a game that watching it, it was one that I was ready to turn the game off because I was like, this is done. There's no way. And then they come out and do it. So that was, definitely my game of the year as well. That was a really, really cool game for the Hurricanes. Very, very fun way to kick off 2022. And now we have Most Improved Player. This was one, where we had a few guys receiving votes. We had Brady Shea receiving votes, Stephen Lawrence, Ethan Bear, Antti Ranta. But one that he won yet again was Seth Jarvis. So yeah, with him in Most Improved Player, I guess you could count it from his juniors last season or the season before, I guess, and improving from junior level to NHL level. He was vastly improved in terms of just his career of making that jump, of skipping the AHL, ECHL, all that entirely, and just heading right on up to the big time. He won Most Improved Player pretty handedly as well. So we now have Best Prospect. This was a very, very interesting one because this one was very, very close. We had Jalen Chatfield receiving votes, and then Jack Jury, he came very close to winning this. He's already, in my opinion, a lock to be on the Hurricanes roster this season. But the one that ended up winning it was Pyotr Kochetkov. Really not surprised there, considering just the momentum he had coming in. Absolutely insane. Going from playing in the KHL, coming over and signing in the coming over playing in the AHL, then getting called up to the NHL, winning, playing in the playoffs, and then going and winning Calder Cup after the NHL playoffs were done. So he's had a hell of a run so far. And, I talked about it with Locked On Flyers that, I think, he very well could be the future for the Hurricanes in net because, Freddie and Auntie, they're both on the wrong side of 30. They're not, the long-term solution. And, we thought that would have been Ned. But, that didn't end up working out. And now Pyotr, he's just really taken to it so well here in the North American style game. I said that I think he could benefit from one more season in the AHL before getting, called up, completely for the NHL. Just to get used to the North American style of game some more. But, yeah, I think he really has the potential to be the guy for the Hurricanes. I really, really do. Because if you remember, Antti Raanta and Freddie Anderson both signed 2-year deals in the same offseason. So, we had last year, now we have this year. After this season, they're both free agents. So there's no telling what would happen after this coming season. But, yeah, Pyotr winning best prospect. I think, he's very much deserving of that title as well. And lastly, for now, our favorite moment. So there was definitely a few. The Columbus game, getting votes here. There was Freddie taking the puck to the center line. There was the final game of the regular season, knowing we were going to have playoffs again. Seth Jarvis's first game, but as well as winning Game 7 versus Boston, but ended up being the one that won was Kochetkov fighting Brad Marchand. So yeah, that was a pretty good moment for sure. But yeah, lots of good moments here. You also had Kochetkov getting in on the hugs from Trocheck and Slavin. So, yeah, a lot of good moments there for sure. And a lot of it, revolving around the playoffs. And, that for me, just kind of shows just how this franchise has really turned a corner after not making the playoffs for a decade. And now, like that one person said, knowing that we're going to have the playoffs here for the 4th straight year. And I think that's really big. The Hurricanes, fans, and the franchise itself, it's been through a lot. And to now be a playoff contender year after year, being that consistent playoff team and being a team that could seriously make a push for the Stanley Cup, I think is really, really big. And they just got to get that clicking down, come playoff time for their offense. If they can do that, I think they're going to be set. But we still got some more awards to hand out, and we will do that right after this quick break. All right, folks, we are back with the last round of awards for the Locked On Hurricanes end of season awards. And now we're at favorite PNC Arena food. We had a few different things receiving votes here. We had the cheesesteak, grilled chicken sandwiches, barbecue nachos, pretzels. But the one that won pretty handily here was the Storm Brew. Really, no surprise there. And now we have the favorite tweet from the Hurricanes. This was one that was Pretty funny. We had no clear winner here. There were a lot of different responses, but there was, I'll at least just read them out to you. There was the offer sheet announcement for Kotkaniemi, the one where they responded to Martian about his tweet. There was the one with all the Boston guys in the box, and then probably my favorite was the quote tweet from Bud Light, where Bud Light was saying that they're going to offer free beer to any Rangers fans that showed up to PNC Arena, and the Hurricanes said that they already offer water. So yeah, that would probably be my favorite. And finally, we have the best celebrity / historical figure that Trip Tracy has called a huge Caniac. This is another one. There was no clear winner for this one. So we had a lot of, there's too many, literally all of them. There was that one there, but we had like John Hancock, Abraham Lincoln, Queen Elizabeth, and Tripp himself. But yeah, I would probably say Tripp himself. That would probably be my favorite, because Trip Tracy is an absolute legend. I cannot wait to hear him back on the call this season. I hope he has really went out, gotten all the help he needed. Seeing the videos of him in the gym, it is no longer Trip Tracy. It is Ripped Tracy. But as always, thank you for making Locked On Hurricanes your first listen. Sorry about the delay on these award shows. I don't know how it slipped past me. But make sure you are following Locked On Hurricanes on Twitter and Instagram at LO_Hurricanes, and myself on Twitter at JaredEllis_96. And I will talk to you guys in the next episode.